A very happy Sunday and welcome once again here to Blackpool Pleasure Beach on this rather nice but overcast day from Sunday the 24th of November 2024. It's a better weekend than last weekend. We have more rides open today. We actually have the big one open earlier than 2 hours. It was actually open today, I think 12:30, 1 o'clock. It did have some wind this morning, so fair enough. There was actually wind this week compared to last weekend. We've also got Icon open, Revolution's open this weekend. So yeah, we've got a few more rides open than we did last weekend. So probably won't be a disastrous day today. But obviously, we're going to talk about more of the construction works, such as Ice Blast, Grand Prix, and other things like that as well. Anything smaller, I noticed throughout the day, obviously show you guys as well. But obviously going to be focused on the main attractions, the ones that have been closed all year, to get the extensive works. I'm not going to be showing anything with River Caves or the Bowl-A-Drome because nothing has changed since last weekend, and obviously nothing really has changed with them attractions all year. But yeah, you can see the big one coming here now. It's actually on a full train this week. All 5 carriages are open. Obviously last weekend I did say it was only on the 3 carriages, but yeah, good to see there it is on all 5 and it's open for longer than 2 hours. So yeah, let's crack on with this update today here from the Pleasure Beach, the second to last full weekend of the park, and then next Saturday is the final day of the season. So yeah, let's see what we can see today. So much like last weekend, we'll start again with the Ice Blast and Loki's building. Obviously it said last week both totally engulfed in scaffolding, with Loki's there on the top of the roof, how it has some panels missing, probably from weather damage or actually the workmen taking some bits of the roof off. But yeah, hopefully Loki's gets a nice refurbishment, a nice tidy up over the winter season, and hopefully gets that roof fixed up there as well. Obviously back in the day it used to be the old cable car station, and all those windows there does still hold the queue line for the ride system. Obviously none of the ride system is in place anymore, but the queue line is still there on the left hand side. So that's Loki's all covered in scaffolding here today. And obviously I mentioned last week that the very top of Ice Blast is just sitting there after they removed it the other week, so they can do all the work they need, like removing the blue pipe. The red ones are still in there. I would imagine they are going to stay in there. I would imagine the part they were requiring was the blue one, the blue pipe. I say I don't know much about an S&S shot. I don't know what the different coloured pipes do. I don't know if obviously the blue one is for the air or if that's the red ones. I've no idea. If you know, comment below. But obviously I don't know anything about an S&S shot tower other than obviously it shoots you up and down. But yeah, the top of the tower sitting there, and like I said last week, you don't actually realise when it's the top of the tower how massive of a structure that actually is, and how big the height beacon is as well. You don't realise. But yeah, again, much like last week, there have been sandblasting certain parts of the tower, and there is little black sections throughout of it. I try my best to show you the one there, but there's like little black splodges there, and there's some more on this side of the tower behind the bushes. I would imagine that's probably an undercoat, a primer, before they do come along and put the white paint, or even a different colour. They might paint it different, but yeah, imagine that's just a primer, as I say before, they do paint up the structure again, because it definitely does need it, and hopefully next year it'll have its full potential in launching up with airtime back like it should be doing. But I'll head round to the other side of Ice Blast, see what's happened on that side. Would imagine not a lot compared to last week, but we'll see what they have done anyway. So much like last weekend, Valhalla is open again, still attracting some people onto the ride. Just a reminder, if you are coming on the park and going on these attractions, obviously they are running on reduced capacity now, with it getting closer to end of the season, and the maintenance programs on very different rides across the park, being the coasters on one train, Valhalla on reduced boats, and certain rides in Nickland, and the rest of the park is already done for the year. They're closed up with the maintenance already taking place on them attractions. So yeah, just a reminder, if you are coming, reduced capacity, and you may have longer waiting times, but obviously today with being quiet shouldn't be too much of an issue anyway. So I look there now, Ice Blast from the Valhalla side, and I can see a lot more black primer on the very base of the tower down there has been applied, and we've also got some on a corner section up there. A lot of black primer has appeared on the tower. Obviously I'm no paintist, I have no idea what it's for, but I would imagine it's probably just the primer, as I say, before they do apply the white paint onto the tower, or as I said it before, maybe a different colour to maybe re-theme it into this little Viking area. But if not, hopefully it gets a full repaint looking nice and fresh, and hopefully the whole area, like the fencing here, the pathways, the landscape, and hopefully it all gets a tidy up, ready for next year. Obviously one thing I do hope the park does for next year is better communication, with rides being closed, rides being refurbished, just anything. I mean, that's the one thing that's annoyed people this year, is the lack of communication. I mean, we're not asking for every single ride to be open every single day and running flat out. We're just wanting to know the small details. That we don't want to know what's actually really happening with the ride. We just want to know, yeah, it's shut all year for refurbishment. That would have been fine. Obviously Grand Prix, they told us that that's shut. River Caves, no one's ever mentioned anything about that reason being closed. Obviously it did open in March opening weekend this year, but after that hasn't opened since. But again, no communication, and there's been very poor communication from the whole park from the whole year. So hopefully that's one thing they can improve over the winter season, is communication. But as I say, we don't want to know the in-depth details of the runnings of the park. We just want to know, yep, this ride shut this year, just so you know if you are planning to come, you won't be getting on, say, such a ride this year. But to say absolutely nothing, leave everyone speculating, and to bring out sarky comments like some of the high management have done all year at the park, is pretty poor, to be honest, and not setting a good example for paying customers, is it? I mean, you're already struggling as it is. Let's not keep annoying customers the way you are doing. So yeah, hopefully they improve on that customer service, customer feedback, and obviously communication. But hopefully Ice Blast does reopen next year, but I would imagine they won't give us any details on if it does or any opening date. But I would imagine it is going to do at some point next year. I'm going to say maybe for the Easter weekend, or if not for the summer holidays, but hopefully it gets a full repaint. So yeah, that's going to do it for Ice Blast today. We'll move over to the Grand Prix because more demolition has taken place, and I'll maybe show any smaller changes throughout the rest of the park as well. So the main pathways here and the entrance of the park, very quiet. Obviously it is November, it's the last Sunday of the season. It is open next weekend, but just Saturday only. It's 11:05, but South Park is 11 till 4 because they have got fireworks down in that end. I would imagine maybe next Saturday would be slightly busy because I would imagine a lot of enthusiasts will be up here, but empty pathways today. Here's a look at Icon then coming into the brake run. It's only on one train today, so maybe that has already started maintenance on the other two trains. But yeah, Icon is open compared to last Sunday and Saturday. Here is this week's look then at the latest changes happening with the Grand Prix. Obviously last week I mentioned that all of this side of the helix, both sides of the track, were all still intact, and obviously the ones that go around at the back of the tunnel wall there. I also mentioned that the first turn out of the station by the avalanche brake one was still there as well, but that has all been taken down this past week. You can say that's all gone over there. The section of track that will be lining the tunnel wall over there have gone as well, and obviously the sections of track here have all gone as well. So yeah, this is all the wooden flooring from the helix. Obviously the ride cars will travel on these sections of wood that would travel up in the old helix section. We've got another pile of wood here. It's also a mixture of the wooden fencing that would run around the border of the ride as well. Obviously that's now been replaced with a green Harris fencing. Just got that small section up there on the left leading back into the station still there. What I would imagine starting tomorrow and the week more will come down as well. Still no changes happening on the side that would run down to the big one, but at the minute obviously the whole helix has gone. The fountain remains intact. I'm definitely guessing they've told the construction team to leave the fountain the best it can do intact. But yeah, the amount of destruction that's happened here over the recent 2 to 3 weeks is quite significant. Obviously I'll walk down there by the green fence and get you a ground level of the demolition as well. So down here on ground level then for the Grand Prix, underneath the main pathway that leads over to that glass bridge over there. Obviously they've pushed the fences right out now, quite understandable with the fact that we do have a structure here that could come down with it being so fragile at the moment. Obviously it's open this week, so Icon's Fast Pass queue is open, so we have a little wander down here then, and you can just see piles and piles of wood here stacked right up to the fence in here. Someone's actually pierced a hole through here, so let's look through the hole. Look at the demolition and the destruction that has happened here. Gives you a good clear view at all the work currently taking place here on the Grand Prix. I don't want to go further down the queue because I'm not boarding Icon just yet, but yeah, here's a look then at what's left of the Grand Prix. Obviously we've got this support structure still intact, and obviously you'd start on this section here and then you'd travel up in a circle all the way up to that section up there. You go all the way up there, but as I said last week, this section here I would imagine would be the most challenging to remove, with it actually being a concrete foundation and concrete track. Obviously the rest of it all is wooden, so it's probably very easy to remove them sections. But yeah, as I pan round this way, you can see here one of the side rails are still intact, but obviously there is no track there anywhere, obviously, is there? But yeah, it's still sitting on a concrete foundation there. We'll pan round further towards the tunnel so you can get another glimpse of the demolition from that angle. Look, we can see probably water pipes, more piles of wood, everything here. That gives you a clear understanding there of how close the Grand Prix is to the pathway. So yeah, a lot of work has been taking place over the last few weeks to get this attraction gone, for preparations for something new in the future years. As to what it is, obviously we've no idea. Is it going to be a flat ride? Is it going to be a new coaster? Obviously we're all hoping it's going to be a new coaster, but if it is, what type? Is it going to be a thrill, family? Who knows? Anyone's guess is good at the minute. But yeah, the demolition taking place on this is quite remarkable, and it definitely changes the skyline and also brightness levels of this area, because obviously this used to be a very dark area of the park, with it being shielded off by the helix section, but obviously now it makes it a lot brighter. Not inviting at the minute with the state of it, but would imagine next year it'll look a lot tidier and a lot more appealing anyway. You can see here a good example of the work crews in the week, obviously putting all the different materials into different piles. Obviously on the left there we've got all the steel and metal from the attraction, like the running rail, the supports, the side rails, and on the right we've got all the wooden panels from obviously the base of the track, the wooden fencing that would run around the border of the Grand Prix helix here. Obviously all recycling, all getting ready for when they do put them into the back of wagons probably in the week. But yeah, obviously the wooden fence that used to run here, you can see where it used to be, and now been replaced with this temporary fence just for now. But obviously next year it'll look a lot different. It'll probably, would imagine maybe next year they'll probably just grass it all over, maybe make it a picnic area next year. Wouldn't imagine anything significant is going to go in this area for next season, because they do want to focus on probably the Bowl-A-Drome and that ride that is potentially going in that space. A look there at what remains Grand Prix that would be leading back into the station. And obviously if I pan the other way, that first turn there next to the old monorail has gone as well, which I'm quite surprised they have removed it before the 30th, but they've not damaged Avalanche, so fair play to them. We've got a piece of machinery here for the digger. This is obviously one of those machinery items that would peck away at concrete, break the ground up. So maybe once they have removed all this wood, steel and other bits of debris, they'll then plough on to removing the base and the foundations of the Grand Prix underneath the bridge. But yeah, they haven't touched anything of the track that leads down to the big one and back. Maybe that's going to be done over the winter, because obviously that's pretty more challenging with a lot more rides operating. So Grand Prix as it looks on the 22nd of November here today. absolute demolition and absolute destruction here. Here's a head-on shot then of the main entry point for the machinery and vehicles that will probably come in to clear this site off. Obviously, I mentioned last week we have lots of mangled fencing, mangled steel, bricks, rocks, everything in this area. Wood, we've got one of the machinery items there, the bucket that will obviously scoop up to put these items into the back of wagons to take them off to various different places. But yeah, the Grand Prix sitting here, and this is the current state on the 24th of November. As I say, hopefully next year this area will look a lot more inviting. The Century Garden will be back open, but maybe next year just give it a nice grassy area, a nice picnic area, until you actually come to the year of your fitting your brand new attraction in this area. So yeah, that's going to do it for the Grand Prix then for this week's episode. Like I said last week, if I see anything else throughout the rest of the day that I'm here, I will show it, but if not, the next clip will be the ending scene today. Just a quick reminder then that the Big Dipper here at the Pleasure Beach is already closed and done for the year. It hasn't been open at any point during November, and obviously I would imagine this ride will be back open for the 2025 season when the season kicks off in March. But they have done a little bit of work in the station. Both trains are currently back of house behind Valhalla in the workshops getting some touch-ups, but they have done some work here in the station with the removal of some of the brake fins you can see there on the ground. There was a brake fin there that would normally be sat on the track there to slow the trains down. So yeah, apart from the brake fin being removed from the track there, I can't really see much more work happening in the station or around the Big Dipper area here. Obviously last year, I think in the winter season, obviously it did get its full repaint here in the station. The track got repainted as well. They did leave the sections down by the Big Blue, so hopefully this winter season they are repainting them sections so it matches the rest of the ride. But yeah, as for Big Dipper, just a reminder that obviously it is closed for the rest of the year, being obviously while the time this video is up, there is only one more operational day and hopefully back open for the 1st of March next year. Here's a look then at the untouched Grand Prix for the time being. Obviously this section from the bridge down to the big one and back hasn't been touched yet, and as I said earlier, I would imagine it would get removed in the off season when the coasters running around. I can hear Avalanche, there it is. But yeah, obviously you pan round to the other side of the tunnel and you can see all the work that has taken place in the helix section with the amount of debris and destruction scattered around the ride area. Well, it's come towards the end of this Pleasure Beach update today. I hope you enjoyed it all. Obviously I've showed the latest changes happening with the Ice Blast, how more developments have happened with obviously the black primer being applied, hopefully ready for a repainting for next season. I've obviously showed more of the Grand Prix demolition, how there's literally only a small section now to be taken down from the old helix section, and I've also showed some smaller changes throughout the day as well. Sadly I didn't get on the big one in the end because it was only open for about half an hour to 45 minutes as the wind has picked back up again, I'm afraid, and that attraction is now closed for the rest of the day until 5 o'clock. Obviously nothing at the park can help with that one, the wind is just part of Mother Nature. So yeah, hopefully we'll get on it next weekend for the final day of the season. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to, hit subscribe. I am just 20 away from the magical 2,000 subscribers, which for a channel of my size, I'm pretty impressed by that. Because obviously we don't really do a lot of videos, we don't do a lot of diversity in them either, not like the bigger theme park channels. But yeah, I'm pretty surprised that I'm nearly at 2,000, so thank you everyone who does watch, does enjoy, and does interact with these videos. So yeah, I'll be back again next Saturday the 30th for the final day of the Pleasure Beach season and the final Inside the Park update of the year. So yeah, I'll see you all then.
Experience vertical